Okay, moving on to part 3, financial analysis. First thing I'm going to have you do is look up rebates according to the Office of Energy Efficiency, PEI's website. So example would be solar water heater. So I go on good old Google and go OEE PEI, and that will bring up the Office of Energy Efficiency. I can go to the Residential Energy Program, PEI Energy Efficiency Upgrade list, and I would scroll down till I seen hot water and solar domestic hot water system. So I would get 15% of the cost. The next thing would be to perform a RET screen financial analysis, all numbers provided. So I'm just talking strictly the financial piece. So if I went to RET screen, I already have it opened here, but it, again, is in here, and we go RET screen and RET screen 4, and we would actually start on this page. And I do not need to go to the project database here because I'm strictly looking to use the financial piece. So I click on the energy model. Work with me, computer. And what we're looking at is this part here. The financial, really, I should have started up here. But if I scroll down, all I really want for this is the financial piece. We're doing some upgrade, and we're going to put it in here. So inflation rate, I'm going to give you all of these numbers. Let's say 2.5%. It's a project life of 25 years. And the debt ratio is, I don't know, 50%. Again, I'm going to provide these. And when you put in that debt ratio, the debt interest rate, 4.5%, and the debt term also come up. So those need to be filled in. The initial costs. So what is the cost of our solar hot water heating system? That, you know, the example I gave. Well, let's say it is $10,000. We'll make the math easy here. Incentives and grants, I would expect you to pull from that from the Office of Energy Efficiency. So we're looking at $1,500. Okay, we should have some O&M costs. If it was a savings, then it goes in brackets, right? If I wanted to put a savings here, I would put it in brackets, and it is protected, and I cannot change that one. So I would put it down here. Anyway, so I would definitely have some O&M with a solar thermal system. Let's call this $40 a year. And see, that's going to add to my $466 debt payment to get me a total of $506. If I was in a negative number, if I was switching over from maybe a wood boiler to an air source heat pump or something along those lines where I'm going to actually save operating and maintenance costs, then I need to put that in as a negative. And you'll see that it does, in fact, put it in as a negative. Here's where I can put my savings. I want it to look good, so I'm going to say my savings are, let's say, $3,000 a year. And now I get a nice looking graph over here. And we can think back to part 2 when I had you do those lighting upgrades or the heating system upgrade, and just to be able to put a visual to it. This simple payback is nice, 2.8 years, but when you factor in equity payback, it's only 1.3. Or the IRR is another important one, 78% internal rate of return on their units or their assets. So financial people like this a little bit better. So I'm just going to have you go through. I will give you all the numbers in terms of O&M. You'll have to look up the incentives and grants. I'll give you the debt stuff, and we'll go from there. Part 4 is auditor knowledge. So blower door would be the biggest one on this list. You're not going to set up the frame and the red sheet. That will either be set up or we'll just kind of do away with it. But you will have to set up the controller, run the green and red tubes, and then go through the whole process of the controls for the blower door. So that includes performing a baseline and setting the ring size, and then you're not going to actually kind of run the fan. Once you're ready, then I will tell you the CFM and associated pressure. I will give you a room that you're going to have to measure, and then with the numbers I give you in the room you've done, you're going to do a field check of your ACH and make sure you're in the right ballpark. I'm going to give you the thermal image camera, and you're going to demonstrate the 3 critical functions to using the camera. So number 1 is set the object distance. Number 2 is make sure it's in focus. And number 3 is ensure the emissivity is on the correct setting. Really important when you're looking at things that are reflective, or like a stainless steel or something like that. And the camera does have the option of using preset values associated with that. An example of that would be the stainless steel. The last part is you're going to have to identify different types of insulation, whether that's extruded polystyrene, expanded polystyrene, fiberglass, etc., etc. And I have the question here: what is Silverboard? Right? If we remember back, my old Pirates extruded. XPS is the hardest on the environment and is the solid material, where the EPS is the beads. And that's what Silverboard is. It's EPS with just a piece of silver lining on one or both sides. I can't remember at the time being. The last part is the HOT 2000 analysis. I'm going to give you a house already constructed, and what you're going to have to do is put an addition onto it. You're going to have to enter in new blower door test values. You're going to have to enter into a fuel cost library, so the dollar savings that it outputs are accurate. And then you're going to have to put in some energy management opportunities. Basement wall and floor insulation, wall and ceiling insulation. You're going to reduce the water consumption. We're going to have to put a hot water heater insulation blanket. We're going to do an HVAC upgrade. You can imagine going from an oil to an air source heat pump. And you're going to do an air leakage upgrade. And the last thing is that equipment sizing at design heat loss. And you remember that's that at minus 22 degrees Celsius here in Charlottetown. And that concludes the exam overview. Everybody.